Hey guys, my name is Sage and I'm going to be painting a magical frog this week, and these are the paints that I'm using. I'm going to be painting this on a 5x7 canvas. To paint the background, I'm going to be using the cadmium red hue and Mars black, and in this video I will be talking about art tips and showing you how I painted this piece and what my thought process was on making it. I'll also have uploaded a similar video showing you how I painted this, but with more of a vibe of chatting with your artsy friend on FaceTime who's painting. But I won't be chatting about the art piece. Instead, I'll be ranting about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone because that's what's interesting to me this week. And without further ado, let's get into my art process. So this week I Frankensteined some references together to get this, which I eventually turned into this. And off screen, I'm looking at this picture as my reference for my painting because I really like digital art. Here are some of my pieces I've been drawing for years, and I've been just recently getting into some painting because I've always liked acrylic paints, and I was like, you know what, let's start this art journey. And now I'm on it, yay! And as you can see, I'm painting the flower here, and I also did not wait for the background to dry because I just didn't want to. And while I'm painting the frog, which will be next, I also didn't wait for anything to dry. I am just going for it. And why am I painting on top of a wet canvas, you may ask? And it's because I like blending. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things in art, and I just thought it would be fun to continue painting because sometimes, like, I think to myself, why not just wait for the background to dry? But you know, I'm already going for a warm toned flower, so I thought, you know what, why not? And then I continue painting the frog, which is going to be blue and green, mostly green, but with like some blue hues in there. So I'm not only having fun blending here, but there's also another artsy reason as to why I'm doing this. And I'm going to tell you all about this artsy tip, and maybe it will even help you. And for context, I learned this tip a couple years ago, and I have found it really helpful because for years I was more so a grayscale artist, and the reason why was because I was intimidated by color, and I really liked gothic artwork, so I was mostly just drawn to the grayscale anyway. But when I wanted to branch out, I was like, damn, how does color work? Because everyone talks about color theory and everything, right? And color theory, you can learn it for years as you can any subject, but the tip that I'm referring to is, so there are warm colors and cool colors. And to keep things really simple, let's start with the warm colors. So red, orange, and yellow. And as you can tell, my background is a dark red, and the flower, it's more of like a pinky red type of vibe. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the frog is a cool tone, right? Because the cool tones are blue, green, and purples. Well, some purples, but let's just stick with blue and green to keep things real simple. And the tip was, so if your subject is cool tone, so like my frog, you know, green and blue, then use warm tones to shade that subject. And because the canvas is so small, I was like, you know what, instead of shading it with that tone of color, I'm just gonna have the background there, and it's still gonna be wet while I'm painting him, so there's gonna be some warm tones that seep through, which is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And if you're having trouble visualizing what I'm trying to say, here is a picture. So if your subject is more of a warm tone, use cool tone shadows, and if your subject is more of a cool tone, use warm shadows. And this is just to really emphasize your subject, and that's what I'm doing here by using a warm background and having a cool tone subject. And he is quite small because, again, this is a 5x7 canvas, so I am just going in with blues, but the red does still seep through because it is a red background. And here I'm also adding some warm tone colors like some oranges, and this orange I mixed myself. I did my best. And he also has like a red eye, and I'm giving him a red magical wand, and the flower itself is more of a pinky tone, so he's surrounded by warm tones to really just emphasize that he's a cool tone. And this is something that I'm constantly thinking of when I'm choosing colors, because I don't know about y'all, but when you're learning color theory and which colors are complementary colors and whatnot, I personally don't find complementary colors to be the best of friends in certain situations. Like, the complementary color to red is green, but when I think of red and green together, my very first thought is Christmas and like the Christmas lights. And personally, I'm more of a Halloween gal. So when I first learned that red and green are complementary colors, I was like, nah, they don't look good together. No offense to the Christmas lovers out there, I'm just not one of y'all. So I found it a lot more freeing being told to use a warm shadow for a cool subject, and vice versa. Because as you can see on the flower, it's a warm tone flower with the pinky red tones. But the petals in the background and the shadows on it are a cool blue. But by complementary color standards, I should have used more of a greeny color because of the pinky reds. But by using the cooler tones to emphasize the warm ones instead of adhering to the strict complementary color rules, you can open up a door of way more possibilities, which is what art is all about. It's about expression and using different things and doing different techniques, and there's no rules, there's just vibes. So this is a vibe that fits for me, and maybe it'll fit for you. Plus, I find that complementary colors can get murky when mixed together, so you gotta be careful while blending. I find when using them together, it's more so about the hue rather than the color. But I'm gonna interrupt myself real quick. Here, I thought it was a fabulous idea to try and add in some yellow after putting down a bunch of water, because I thought that was a great idea, and then it wasn't, and I wanted to show that because it wasn't a good idea. I thought it was ugly, and I still make mistakes, and this was one of them. So I decided to paint the opposite side with a bluer tone, and it's not because I wanted it to be cool because the red's already laid down. I wanted it to be more so neutral because I found the background kind of monotone because I was staring at it for so long, and I just wanted it to look different. Did I know exactly how? No, but I knew I was gonna add some blues. And then on the side where I tried to add in the yellow, I then added more so of a pink, and this is just because my too much gene, because I have it, I don't know when to stop, you know, like I just keep adding stuff and I need to know when to reel it back in, and this was just when I didn't reel it in at all. I just went with it and hoped for the best. And you may be like, but you're just talking about tones and hues and stuff and you sounded knowledgeable. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes too. I just want to experiment, and this was one of the times where my experiment brain and my too much gene was like, you know what, we gotta do this right now. And do I regret doing it? No, it was a learning lesson. However, did I wish that I would have just left it? Yeah. But I told myself it's okay because I'm gonna be adding in some leaves, so you know, everything works out. But back to hue rather than color for complementary colors, I find when you're blending complementary colors together, they can get a little murky. So I find it's more so about the hue rather than the color. So what I mean by that is if you're using a bright red, like what I used on his eyes, if this was a digital art piece, I would be using muted greens inside of his eyes for shading. But since this is a smaller piece, I opted for muted greens around his eyes to really emphasize the red. And so if you're dead set on using complementary colors together while blending, this is what I learned. Use the muted tones of the complementary color in order to shade it so it doesn't get murky. And it will still make each other pop. At least that's what I found out that works for me. And that's only if you want to use complementary colors. Or if you want to go the cool and warm route, that's wonderful too. Shade however you want. It's art. Be free. And now my magical frog is done, and I'm gonna show you the glamour shots of this piece. Also, the frog's name is Henry the Hopping Wizard. And I hope this video was helpful to you in any way, and I will see y'all next week with a whole new art video. And until then, bye bye!